Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to New Mexico Entertainment Television, where you continue to be in the know with all things events and entertainment in New Mexico. I'm Teresa Robinson, and on this month's episode, we'll be covering topics from our June issue, which is our Pride issue. On this month's episode, we have the Chief Fun Officer of Hotel Zazz and Z Lounge, and the artist known as The Means, Sherri Davis, Paul Ford and Micah Linford of the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival, comedian June Opal, our community question, entertainment history, and our music minute featuring Los Domingueros. So, let's get started. Sherri Davis, aka The Means, is a colorful example of what happens when you let go and listen to your heart. The chief fun officer of the Z Lounge inside Hotel Zazz sat down with us to discuss finding her place in the community and how music has played a part. Okay, Sherri, thank you for hopping on with me to talk. So I want to get to know a little bit more about you, because obviously, as we were doing the interview for the magazine, I found out that you were the person who opened up the final day of the slam poetry event. Scream high, want to read your night. Scream to see inside. And I just was sitting up above going like, who is that? Who is that? And I was so taken aback by everything happening. I completely forgot to ask, who is that? So when I found out that you were The Means, I was like, oh. Yes. So how did you begin?
The Means.
How did you begin?
It's funny. I when I was younger, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to write books, like novels. I used to read a lot when I was a kid, and as I was like in my late teens and early 20s, I didn't have the attention span. There was always so much going on. I'm a sensitive person, so I was like always feeling overstimulated, and so I just never had the attention span. I felt like every time I would go to write, I would come to a blockage because my story wasn't over. So it's like I can't write the story if I'm still living it. But that was like the intention was to write stories. And so as time went on and life happens and whatever, and I found myself living in Philadelphia, like as a young adult, and like just experiencing a lot. And I was going through some like depression, and I just needed to like be around people. And I knew I could. I never wanted to like had the desire to be a singer or anything like that, but I knew I could hold a note. And so I knew I'd heard about this thing called an open mic. So I went to an open mic because I just needed to get out the house and go like engage with the world around me. And so I went to this open mic, and I sang Tom Jones, I love you, baby, if it's quite all right, a cappella in front of all these white guys. And they loved it. And they loved it. And the guy who ran the band at the second open mic asked if I would come sing backup for him. And so that's how I got started. And so I did the following month. So 2 months later, I sang with this band for this event that they had. And that was the first time I ever sang into a microphone. So it's just showing up.
Well, I like that you were saying in your interview that, because now you're at Hotel Zazz, and as you put it, they were zazzing before you got there.
Yeah.
Right. How did you even land foot in that hotel?
It's like I'm a very my feelings have guided me through my life, and so like when COVID happened, everything shut down. We couldn't sing anymore. So, and I never liked being a recording artist, and that sent me right into that spiral, not spiral, but like to that same place that I was, when I needed to like engage with people. And so I was like, here I am, sad, because I can't sing. And so I started cooking, because I was like, in my mind, like, what do I like about doing this? Like, I'm an entertainer, but I can entertain a lot of different kinds of ways. And so that's when I started cooking. And so I did that all through COVID. And it was when I needed at the time because of going through life issues and stuff like that. And I was not in the emotional space to be a performer really. So it's kind of good that COVID happened. And so I was doing that for a couple of years, and I came down to Albuquerque, And um, I was getting tired of the people being behind me. And so I was actually up the road working. And I knew, like, I remember I'd like to check in with myself. So I was up the road working. I'm like, why do I love cooking? Why do I hate this? Like, why do I, know, and and I was like, and I would kept getting in trouble because I would be leaving the kitchen and going out into the dining room and not where I'm supposed to be. So I was like, okay, I miss being in front of people again. And so I was following Hotel Zazz on the internet. And I was like, oh, this seems like a cool place. There's lots of colors. I like colors. It seemed like it's hip. And so I just walked in one day and I was like, I'd like to give it a shot. And it's a new business, so there's been some transition and stuff like that. But like I saw the value in it, and so through all the different transitions and the different iterations over the last couple of years, I was like, I don't want to. I don't want other people to lose. I don't want the community to lose this. But more than that, I don't want to lose it for myself. If I don't maintain this, then I'm not going to have anywhere to go. so,
Heard,
so I was like, just push it through, and I think, me and the woman who owns the place, like we, developed a rapport, and she started calling me the CFO, and I was like, I guess, yeah, it's fine with me. It's appropriate. It's not inappropriate. So yeah, I just walked in one day. That's, I feel like in my life, showing up is when they say showing up's half the battle. Like showing up is all of it, really. Just if you know how to be what room to be in, then all the opportunities are available to you. So that's how I got here. Over the times that I wasn't performing and the things, and being a cook and just kind of being behind the scenes, like it gave me some perspective as far as like it when I decided that I wanted to go back and start singing again and being in front of people. I wanted to be more thoughtful about it than I was the last time, and so it's been important to me because like Albuquerque really was here for me when I needed it, in the ways that I needed it. And so I didn't want to. I've seen this thing where people, like, especially entertainers or something, they'll be from a place, gain a little success, and then they go out to the LAs and the New Yorks, whatever, and leave the past behind them. And so it was important to me to be able this time around to sow some of that caring back into the community. And so like there was literally like not a better place to do it, but Hotel Zazz, honestly.
For those who have not been there yet, what is it about that venue that just is nurturing to the community like it was for you?
Like, I mean, I do notice, I've been to a lot of places, and I noticed that, sometimes business owners, especially places that are, like up and coming, like sometimes it is all about the image, and, and that is, it's fine, but that's not a place, but it's all about what it looks like, but that's not a place where people can really go to be themselves. Because if like your establishment's all about the looks, then people are going to come there thinking like I'm just, like with kind of shallow intentions, unfortunately, which is fine if that's what you're all about, but that's not what we're all about here. And so it's kind of a place that, like, although like obviously there's already paint on the walls, there's chairs and stuff like that, but it's almost like a backdrop for people to come and be themselves. It is not my intention to be the center of attention when people come here. Like I want people to like, and I think we all want people to come here and have such a great time, and they talk about how great of a time they had and not just how great Hotel Zazz was. And so I think that's like one thing that kind of sets us apart, and like it enables people to like kind of like have their experience, or to define their experience for themselves. So yeah, I think that's what nurtures it, because I kind of force people to ask themselves, like, what is it that you want? It's my job to make sure you're having a good time, but you got to tell me what you need to get from point A to point B. I mean, there's deep roots in Albuquerque, there's roots here, here in this hotel, it's like, and for the, Shamin, who runs the place now, to have grown up here and then gone out and had her own career that was in not in hospitality, and to come back, to cultivate those, that tree, whatever you want to, whatever analogy you want to use, to cultivate those roots. That is most people our age are not really doing that. They're going out to go find something bigger and better, and not necessarily, trying to grow what they have. And so that I'm not gonna say it impressed me, but that attracted me, because I don't have those kind of roots, unfortunately. So like it's like if this person is trying to do, like, I can understand the intention. I understand the mission, so I can put myself behind that.
What is coming up this month and next month that's happening at the hotel that we should know about, besides just chilling?
Yeah, we're working on I'm working on a weekly live music event outside on at the by the pool. So that's something I'm really excited about. Like I'm a big fan of live music, like we send so many people to other places, which is like fine, but we have a really cool venue here. And so like we do the dive-in movie weekly, and so where people can go swimming while they're watching a movie on the big screen outside, which is like super
That
cool. And
is
like I would
cool.
love to do that with music, and so that's something that we're working on also, like just being able to have that space out there that where you can have so many different, like people can be doing so many different things in one space. It makes the experience more dynamic, so I'm working on a live music series out there that should be coming up in the next, not this week, but the following week. We also we still keep going with we have the monthly Z Lounge Burlesque review, which is one of my favorite things. People come in all the time and they're like, "You have a burlesque show here?" Because the room is so small, and it's like, you'd be surprised. We packed some punch in here. Like this is, we can rearrange all this stuff. We just like we got it in here, we can get it out too. Like, and we'll make more room for you. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things. And then yeah, I'm really in a space where I'm trying to just kind of keep my ear to the ground and like listen to what it is that people want to see or like want to do. And so I'm getting really into like hosting like private parties for other people, like birthday parties or like going away parties and stuff like that. That's really like something that I didn't think I was gonna enjoy as much when I started doing this job. But it's actually turned out to be pretty cool because that's when you really can get into like, well, what's your favorite color? Like, what's your favorite flavor for this, you know, cocktail that I'm gonna make you, and so like I can just really cater to people. So I mean, we don't know. We don't know. Whenever you decide, that's what's happening in the
I
next
like
month.
it. I like it. So
So
where can people find
yeah.
out more about you and the hotel?
The hotelzazz.com. Z Lounge, we have a website. I'll be honest with you, it's not too much on it. But that's zloungeabq.com. Um, me, I have social media. I do have like my Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. With my music name is The Means, so that's TheMeans, 2 words with a period. Don't forget the period. you know so because it's like the end. So going back to my origin story, like when I wanted to write books, and I couldn't find the story. So when I decided how I was going to stylize what I was going to be called, I was like, well, the period, like, it stops with me, like whatever happens. So it stops here. So that's so the period is important. But yeah, you can find me on social media. Google me, or maybe not. I don't know. Look me up on Instagram. Maybe don't Google me. But I'm around. I'm around. I'm in the hood. You'll find me riding my bike up and down Central Avenue doing something crazy. So and then if you really want to learn more about me, come sit down and have a conversation. That's really what I'm all about. Talking to people and getting to know people, and I do have time to build relationships in a real way, IRL, not URL.
So Sherri, thank you. Thank you for taking. I know it was a struggle to get this done, but
It's all
thank
good.
you.
All right, thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Whether you've seen many plays or you're experiencing them for the first time, the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival believes Shakespeare's work is for everyone. Director of The Tempest, Paul Ford, and director of The Merry Wives of Windsor and artistic director, Micah Linford, discuss the event and share their passion for bringing these classic works to life. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me this evening to talk more about this year's Shakespeare Festival. I wanted to start with the history. How did it all begin?
The Shakespeare Festival started actually back in 2010 as a production of the Vortex Theater. It was called the Willpower Festival at that point.
Wow.
And in 2014, they teamed up with the city and brought it outdoors, and it was presented on Civic Plaza. So it was then changed to Shakespeare on the Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, we had to find a new home, and we went to our new home now, the Veterans Memorial Park, and decided to change it to the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival. So it's been around for about 14 years now.
What is it about Shakespeare do you feel people resonate to? Because, I mean, for some people, they probably hear Shakespeare, they think, oh, there's no way I could even relate to that. What is it that keeps people coming back?
It's so vital. It is alive and present, and I know a lot of people have a relationship to Shakespeare based on sort of literature approach in high school. But when they are there, it's alive. You know, the situations are real. The personalities are rivetingly present, and the psychological understanding is just unmatched.
Absolutely. I think
He was nodding.
Yeah, Shakespeare has just an innate understanding of what it is to be human and the human
Truly.
experience and all of the situations that we experience as humans. And as Paul said, a lot of people have a literary, experience with Shakespeare. And at the festival, we really believe that Shakespeare is meant to be seen.
Yeah.
So if all your experience is reading it, please come out and see it.
And as you were saying earlier, this year seemed organic in how everything was falling into place, including how the shows were chosen. So tell us about what this year's selections are and how the process went.
This year we're doing The Merry Wives of Windsor and The Tempest. And after each previous season, we sit around and as artistic director, I am given the responsibility of choosing the shows, choosing the directors to move forward. And I knew that I wanted to direct The Merry Wives of Windsor. Mm-hmm. And I had been batting around the idea of The Tempest. And I heard, after Paul had directed for us last year, that he was possibly interested in The Tempest. So he and I sat down and talked about it, and everything fell into place.
And when it comes to the casting, how did that work as well? I mean, certain... your regular audition process, or?
Yes, and it's a large audition pool, mm-hmm. and you'd think there'd be more struggle between us for actors, but actually that was relatively organic as well.
Wow.
Things fell into place for us, and we didn't get into any fist fights at all.
It's not Shakespearean at all.
It helps that we have an incredibly talented pool of actors in Albuquerque, so there's a lot of actors that we could put in numerous roles. So, if Paul says, I think he would really work perfect in this role, then I can easily move down the list to somebody else.
So what was it that you were looking for with each actor for these particular productions? What were you looking for that you thought was going to be the perfect fit for each show?
Well, I mean, you're working with characters, so you come into an audition in mind of what individual ages, strengths, looks bring to the role, but you're also looking for sort of a groundedness, a grounded voice, an ability to be fully present and fully alive. And you're looking for, somebody who has the sort of the life energy to fill up a large space and a whole. And then you're also looking for how they fit together, because the ensemble and how they connect with each other and how they all join the same air to be part of the same place is a really important part of the puzzle.
And the relationships between the actors is incredibly important. They've got to have that chemistry, they've got to be able to work together, they've got to be able to laugh together, because they're going to be together for a long time.
Trust.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So with those who come to see the show, what do you want them leaving? I mean, as you explained, it's from the literary side that people are looking at Shakespeare. How do you want them to walk out from that venue after seeing these productions?
I want them to feel enriched by the experience. The Tempest is a really deep and meaningful play with some very powerful human messages. But more than anything, I want them to walk out feeling full, you know?
And we really want them to realize that Shakespeare is for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just for the literary elite. It's not for the theater community. It's for everybody.
Wonderful. So where can people find out more about the production?
The best places are our website, which is nmshakes.org, and we also are present on Facebook and Instagram. And as far as the most up-to-date information, the social media pages are probably the best places to go. Our social media person puts out fairly regular updates, and they'll update about if there's going to be a show cancellation or something like that, then that's our social media pages are the best
We
place.
post rehearsal photos and things of that sort of
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
It's fun. It's fun to they
can watch the process
follow
develop.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming out tonight and talking with us about the productions, and we look forward to seeing them.
Thank
you.
so much.
We'll be back.
A veces piensas que tu tiempo se ha pasado, que no mereces los regalos de la vida. La tormenta te ha dejado desasiado y tu deseo es que se acabe esto de sentir solo, tan solo. No tienes que pensar que siempre sentirás tan solo, tan solo. Alguno de estos días no voy a sentir tan y vas allá de sufrir. La plenitud que buscas está dentro de ti.
Comedian June Opal draws from her life experiences to craft her comic sets, attracting a growing fan base. Tonight we discuss her beginnings, life as a comic in the LGBTQ community, and her hopes that her comedy can spark meaningful dialogue. Thank you, June, for joining me this evening to talk
Yeah.
about your comedy. I really appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, what defines your comedy?
I feel like, the best way to put it is it's an authentic and an unapologetic version of myself. I really try to have like my authentic version of that, but also like, I want to put the best, like funniest parts forward. So I think that's what the best describes kind of my comedy.
So where do you pull from? Where does your inspiration come from when creating a set?
As of right now, in the last year of what I'm doing, I've been really looking kind of at the beginning parts of my childhood. I would say from like 11 to around 15. So that's kind of, I'm really just kind of going deep into the recesses of my memories and being like, what's funny? What about that was so different for me compared to other people? And so I guess that's what I would say right now is my childhood is a big part of what I'm talking about.
So you are a member of the LGBTQ community and in the comedy field. Do you feel that there's ever been a challenge being in those two different worlds, meshing them together?
I mean, it can. I think that like a general audience can come into comedy thinking that they're going to have to change what they think is funny. When I guess my hopes for that is that I don't. I mean, they can come in and just laugh at what I'm talking about, right? And so I think there's always been kind of like a thing about women and specifically queer people not being as funny as cis men. And, but here in Albuquerque, I wouldn't say that really is an issue here. People are so, I think if you can give the people that come to shows here respect, they're here to give you respect. And so that's a big part of it for me.
So when it does come to your shows and looking at, the environment that we're in, it is a sense of, creating a safe space that people go to, but some comics feel, okay, well, now that we're kind of limited, they feel, of controlling what we talk about or how we talk about it. Do you feel that sense of control that you can't expand out further?
No, I mean, there's definitely things that I don't think I should be talking about. Like, there's things that I try to really stick to, like, what I can experience and what I've experienced, and things that I know, right? But no, I think as a writer, more constraints to what we're able to write about, or like how we're able to talk about those things, it makes us better writers, because we get the chance to really have to think. We have to really think about what we're going to talk about, how we're going to talk about it. Is everybody going to understand? Am I like making sure that I'm including those people? Am I punching up or punching down? So I think constraints always make a better writer or make a better artist.
So it's never a challenge for you.
It can be, but I don't look at it. If it's a challenge, it's a healthy challenge. It's definitely something that's going to grow my comedy and my art even more. If I have to push myself to do something that's a little bit, I guess, bigger than what I normally would go for.
So what can an audience expect when they go to see your set?
I guess just like my weird perspective on how life is. It could be what I thought about sex one time. It could be, me being trans. It could be my relationship with my parents, or how being homeschooled was a big part of my life, or growing up in a cult was a big part of that as well. And so like, there's all of these things that I feel like, get ready. I hope if anything, if anyone does come to see me, is that, it's okay to laugh about these things. Like, let's learn about myself and about you, and like what you think is funny as well. And let's all grow together.
So where can people see you coming up here in the next few months?
Next few months, definitely. Hopefully be at Dry Heat within the next couple months. I'm going to be doing some Pride stuff, obviously. I know that we have, I have on the 21st, I'm not exactly sure where it is, because I'm blanking on the moment. But
I feel you.
I have, if anybody wants, the best place to know where I'm going to be, I guess, would be Instagram, would be at June Opal Comedy on Instagram. And that's the best way to know what's going to happen with me. But if not, come see me at a mic. There's mics Monday through Friday. I think there's also one on Saturday now. But yeah, so just come see some comedy and enjoy, people working on their stuff.
Wonderful. Well, June, thank you again for coming in and talking with me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be back. This is your New Mexico Entertainment in 60.
Movies on the Green Community Day is celebrating the 90th anniversary of the town of Taos, with free carnival rides, live music, and a screening of Monsters, Inc. Movies on the Green takes place on June 26th at Kit Carson Park in Taos. Sesame Street Live Say Hello brings the beloved characters from the iconic show to life in a brand new interactive production. Sesame Street Live Say Hello takes place on June 27th at the Rio Rancho Event Center in Rio Rancho. Join us for a day of celebration, love, and inclusion at Pride on the Plaza. Vanessa Patrick's hosts a day of entertainment and fun, including music and live performances. All ages are welcome. Pride on the Plaza takes place on June 29th at the Plaza in Santa Fe. This has been your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com.
Thank you for joining us this month for New Mexico Entertainment Television, where you continue to be in the know. Join us next month as we'll be covering topics from our July issue, which is our comedy issue. Have a good night.
For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com.